You've traveled over 500 million years into the past to experience some of the most dangerous seas and alien organisms ever to exist on Earth. Welcome to the Cambrian Period. What would Earth look like compared to how it does now? What could you eat to survive? And what kind of creatures would you need to watch out for? This is What If, and here's what would happen if you lived in the Cambrian Period. Traveling 500 million years into the past? Well, the first thing you should probably do is get your bearings. Unfortunately for you, the Earth you knew so well is gone. Or rather, it's yet to come into existence. You'd find yourself on a planet with shallow seas covering most of its surface. And in the southern hemisphere, where you're standing right now, the supercontinent Rodinia is just starting to break apart. There's Gondwana, the landmass that will go on to include South America, Africa, and Australia. Laurentia, which includes most of North America, plus Siberia and Baltica, which span across what you might recognize as the eventual Scandinavia, Eastern Europe, and parts of Russia. You wouldn't really recognize anything, though. No familiar mountain peaks or lush greenery. It would mostly be barren, except for mosses and algae spread across the landscape. But as you made your way over to the ocean's edge, you'd soon discover an explosion of life thriving on this early Earth. But be careful, some of it could kill you. Just below the ocean's surface, you'd be treated to a glimpse of a time when life on Earth was diversifying faster than ever before. There were some pretty wild creatures during this time, but unfortunately, they've gone extinct. I don't know about you, but I personally don't want that to happen again with the creatures we have today. Luckily, I have a solution from our friends over at Planet Wild. They're doing some amazing work, attempting to bring back endangered species. Yeah, and best of all, you can take part in their missions. Stick around till the end of the video for more information and a free gift. You've arrived right in the middle of the Cambrian Explosion. This relatively short stretch of time between 530 and 540 million years ago saw a boom of new organisms. Scuttling across the seafloor, you'd find alien-looking critters that, at first sight, might scare you right out of the water, but don't worry, they won't harm you. These are trilobites, ancient creatures that scavenged around from tropical shallows to icy waters near the poles. With their spiny limbs and wide circular mouths, you could watch them search for a buffet of worms and algae to feed on. At this point, you'd start to notice that breathing is a little more difficult on Earth than it is in our day and age. That's because the atmosphere's oxygen levels are significantly lower than what you're used to. Even down at sea level, it would feel like you were at a much higher altitude. And since the ozone layer has yet to fully develop, you'd also have to do your best to shield yourself from the much stronger UV rays pounding down on you from the sun. I hope you brought some sunscreen because you won't find any here for a long time. By now, you'd be getting hungry, especially after watching those trilobites munch down on all their yummy snacks. And you'd start to wonder what on earth you'd be able to eat in the Cambrian Period. Well, your best bet would be to stick close to the sea, but be careful. Don't reach for those worms too quickly. Some of the food sources you'd find could be highly toxic. You'd be consuming strange new bacterias that your body isn't used to, so brace yourself for an upset stomach or something even worse. And while you're out hunting for dinner, we'll keep an eye out for larger predators lurking in the shadows. But don't worry too much. A lot of what you'll see are organisms like the anomalocaridids. These shrimp-like animals could grow up to 38 centimeters, so they wouldn't do you much harm. You'd actually be the apex predator at the top of the prehistoric food chain. As your days stuck in the Cambrian Period turn into weeks, you'll continue to struggle with adapting to your new environment. The low oxygen levels would make even the simplest physical tasks more difficult. And without fruits, veggies, and your usual proteins, you could be headed toward malnutrition. Now, despite all the challenges, you'd be witnessing one of the most significant eras of life's development on this planet. All those creatures in the sea will go on to evolve and be the foundation for much of life as we know it. Now, when your time machine one day kicks back into action, you'd be happy to leave this ancient period behind. But maybe you're not ready to go back home just yet. I wonder what the Devonian period was like. Well, that's a story for another What If. Hey, don't click off just yet. As a thank you for making it to the end of the video, I want to give you something. Our friends at Planet Wild are going on monthly missions to preserve nature and wildlife while documenting all their process on YouTube. Their latest involves planting over 40,000 trees in Senegal. It's all funded by a community that wants to give back to nature by funding ecosystem restoration missions where it really matters. By being a member of the Planet Wild app, you also get to vote on how you'd like your funds to be used. I've been subscribed to it for a while now, and I like how I can track their progress and find videos documenting their missions. In fact, I love the app so much that I want you to try it out for free. That's why the first 200 people that sign up will get the first month on me. Just click on the link in the description or scan the QR code and use the creator code WHATIF.